Assalamu alaikum. Everybody wants my revert story. I don't really know how to edit on TikTok and all that within 60 seconds, so I'm gonna give you guys the summarized version of what brought me to Islam. I'll put it to YouTube and we'll see if it gets any views or not. So from the age 18 to 21, before I had my son, I drank, I smoked, I did all the typical American teenager stuff. Thought I was untouchable, etc. My first experience with looking into religion was I was like 18, 19, and I just started looking at different things within religion, like occultism, Judaism, Gnosticism, Hermeticism, stuff with Egypt, Egyptian stuff, Coptic texts, Gnostic texts, the Gospels, like the Gospel of Barnabas, Gospel of Judas, just literally anything. And this started between 18 and 21. And in between that time frame, I went on a camping trip with a couple of friends. We live out in the country. I live in the eastern part of the United States. So there's mountains and there's bears in the mountains. So when we go to the mountains, one of us brought a gun, just in case. And that night we're all sitting around the fire talking about witchcraft. We're all like, oh yeah, this is witchcraft, da 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 da. At the time I didn't believe in anything like that. And then later in the night, my friend is sitting with a shotgun in their lap. And they got the shotgun sitting across their lap, and I'm standing right beside them, but a few feet back. So like my feet are in line with the shotgun tip. And we're joking about witchcraft and everything else. And then I hear them say, hey, the red means safety's on, right? And then right after I hear that, all I hear is, boom! Wah, wah, wah. Like in Call of Duty, the video game, if you're throwing a flashbang, that noise, that's what happens in real life when a shotgun goes off that close to you. And all I see is the dust in front of me fly up and the tree beside me explode, and I fall back and I pass out because I thought my legs had just got blown off. And I come to him, my friend, I'm not going to say his name, I'm trying not to say any names. I come to, he's shaking me, he's like, hey man, your feet are still there, your legs are still there. And I'm like, oh no, whoa. I'm like feeling my feet, all my toes are still there, I'm still all good. So that experience immediately was like, all right, I need to stop joking about this witchcraft stuff, stop joking about Satanism and occultism, and start taking this religious stuff seriously and start looking into it more. So I turned 21, start believing in God a little bit, start reading more different religions. To name all the religions I've looked at would just take forever. I've literally looked at Taoism, Buddhism, Gnostic texts, again, Gospel, occultism, Aleister Crowley, anything ranging from good to bad religions, I've looked through them at that time. So I turned 21, I have my son, things looking great, I'm like, life is amazing. I have my kid, like life's good. I go through good and bad times. By the age I'm 22, life is still getting a little hectic between me and his mom, and I can't remember if it was 22 or 23. I just know it was 2015. I had put Oliver to sleep. I put my son to sleep, and I go to a cookout that we were throwing. It was like a couple days after my birthday. I didn't celebrate my birthday, so we went to this cookout. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, still like an idiot. Still hadn't got my stuff together. And I kept on hearing my name through the crowd, so I knew something bad was going to happen. And if I would have listened to that instinct, I should have left, but I didn't leave. So I'm walking to my vehicle, and I hear my name. Somebody called my name. And I turn around, and there's this person. And they're not excited because we had broken up. They were mad. I don't know the situations behind it, but I just know that there was this person in front of me, a person to their left, and a person to their right, and a crowd behind them. And as I'm talking to them and laughing in their face and telling them to leave, they have no place being here, I look down to my pocket to get a cigarette out. I get cracked with a liquor bottle. The liquor bottle hit me here in the left side of my face. If I was hit here, it would have killed me, but it hit me here. You can see the scar where they did the surgery. So I get hit with a liquor bottle, it smashes my orbital, and the whole left side of my face and my back teeth. So I jump in my car, go home, sit on the couch till like 3 a.m., then drive to the ER at 8 a.m. I kept on wondering why my eye was going black every time I'd lean over, and that's because I had blood pooling in my brain and I had bleeding on the brain. So I get my MRI done, I get my CTs done, and my face looks like a spider web. They're telling me I have to have all this surgery. So, during that time, I was pissed. Pardon my French, but I was pissed. I was mad at God. I was like, how could you let this happen to me? Like, what have I done so badly that I'm almost murdered? So I decide after both my surgeries, I had a surgery and then a recovery time of 6 months after each one. I decide to leave the state for a while. So I left the state and I went to Colorado. And a couple months after that, I went to Arizona. In Arizona, I met up with one of my friends whose family lives in Saudi Arabia, and sometimes they come back to Arizona. So he's the first person to start talking about Muslims and Islam, but he wasn't a Muslim himself, but he still would always talk about it. So I feel like he kind of put those thoughts into my head. I'm like 24, 25-ish at this time. So, I get through that phase of being in Arizona, I fly back home, still studying religion, still studying all these crazy different religions. So I start to just think, if religion is real, the occult stuff is real, the Gnostic stuff, the crazy stuff is real. Like, as above, so below, and all that type of stuff. And, I started, looking into that, and I got to the end of that, and I was just like, still, I believe there's a higher power, I just don't know what. And then a couple months back, let's say like 10 months back, I'm 28 now, 29 in May, inshallah. About 10 months back, I decided to start looking into Islam because I was like, this is the only thing I've never looked at. And, living in America, I was in 5th grade when 9/11 happened, and I have family in the military, so the narrative was always pushed. Terrorists, Takbir, Allahu Akbar, like that's a bad saying, like, all this stuff. So I start looking into Islam. I get sent a Quran from GamePeace.com. If you need a Quran, check out GamePeace.com. I got a free Quran from them. It's the English translation, and I started reading it. And I was like, I knew this was an Abrahamic faith, but I didn't know that they talked about Jesus or Isa, peace be upon him. I didn't know they talked about Mary. I didn't know that they talked about Abraham and Moses and Noah and all these other prophets, Enoch, like prophets that I had read about, the Gospel of Enoch, like, peace be upon all these prophets, but I didn't know that Islam talked about any of them. So I'm reading the Quran, and it feels like the book is telling a story. It's talking to everyone, but it feels like it's talking to me at the same time, and I've never felt like that. And, when I was reading Christianity, there was a time where I was like, all right, I'm going to pray to you, Jesus. If you truly are God, you'll answer my prayers. When I did that, nothing happened. Just from my experience. I'm not knocking Christianity or anything like that. Another issue I had with Christianity was the Trinity. So it just never made any sense to me. How can God be a person if God is this all-powerful being? Why would he need to manifest himself in human form? Who was Jesus praying to? Why did Jesus cry out onto the cross, Father, why have you forsaken me? If he is technically God, he knew he was going to crucify himself. Just things like this did not make sense to me. So I'm reading the Quran, and I was like, man, this seems legit. So I was like, you know what? Let me try and pray. So I was really down on my luck. I was hurting for money. And I prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm not asking for a sign. I know we're not supposed to ask for signs. But if you could help me in my time of need, it would solidify things that I already believe. And then a few days later, that prayer manifested. And since then, many prayers have manifested. Right after that, I took my Shahada in my room alone, and I have been a revert Muslim for about 7 going on 8 months now. So Inshallah, I will make it to 29. I will keep learning more. I will eventually be back on TikTok, and I know this is a long video and it drawled on, but I don't know how to edit or anything. Thank you to everyone who supported me. I'm sure there's bits and pieces I left out, but yeah. Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah. And I'm just so glad I found Islam. I've got so many brothers and sisters that are amazing. To anyone watching this, if you've ever thought anything negative about Islam, read the Quran or talk to a brother or sister, and you will see that it is the complete polar opposite of the narrative that they push on TV or the narrative that they push on the internet. Because it is not violence, it is not oppressive, it is not any of these things that get pushed. And I'm a white boy from Eastern United States. I live in a very Christian state. I live in what they call the Bible Belt, and I'm telling you, the narrative they push is so incorrect. So I'm so glad I found Islam. Hopefully this helps one person find Islam as well. And this was my story. I love you guys. Have a good day. Salam.